now. So we're recording, and but it's good to take notes because I'm going to be asking you to work out problems in real time. So thanks for that question. Danny, what's your question? Okay. So remember, 5A, you are really good at following norms for this, and we've pretty much adapted at this point. I think we're doing an even better job distance learning than we were in class, to be honest. You guys are really, really doing great. Let's move forward. So the first thing that I want you all to know is that even though there was a video on the parts of a circle that will not be on the quiz tomorrow, there's only one thing you need to really, really worry about or think about. Not worry because we're not worried. This is learning. This is fun. It's going to be the area of a triangle formula, which is 1/2. Technically, it's times the base times the height. Notice I put base and height in parentheses. Okay, so that formula looks kind of long. I just really expanded it out for you. The way that you're going to learn this formula moving forward is the pro way. Here's the pro way. Don't write area, just write A is equal to 1/2. Don't write times because you assume it. Because there's a parentheses here, you assume that there is a times right there where I put my arrow. B times, notice that I use the cool advanced times symbol, times H, closing parentheses. All right, that's going to be the way you will know the formula. And that's how the big kids know it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you an extra added bonus. If you really want to go pro, A equals 1/2 BH. Okay, so everybody who takes algebra and geometry knows that this formula means 1/2 times the base times the height. For our purposes, if you want to do it this way, this is more than acceptable. Okay, all right, let's get rolling. So remember that I'm recording all of this, so if you need to go ahead and watch this over, which I encourage, you can do it afterwards. When we end our class, I will be posting this within the Google Classroom assignment that is the one for today where you had the Khan Academy exercises, okay? So for our first contender, what is the area of the triangle below? Now, before you begin, and you may already be beginning, and you can start actually, I'm just going to talk and I'm going to say this first. I'm going to be moving very slow, but I will be solving this problem in real time. So all you have to do is be a little faster than me and you'll stay right ahead of me. If you get confused, it's okay. I'll catch up to you and I'll give you a little boost. Go. Solve for the area. Okay. I'm also going to be talking out loud, FYI. First thing I'm going to do is write the formula for the area of a triangle. Area is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. Oh, you guys, by the way, I hope you all know that base times height is a more advanced, more foolproof version of length times width. Okay, so we went through that in one of the previous videos. Okay, so after you write 1/2, or the formula for area, which is 1/2 times the base times the height, you have to find what the base and the height are. I'm going to take this triangle and I'm going to turn it in my head or visually, and now I see the base. The base is here, where the 3 is, and I also see the height. The height is 6. Yeah, question. Okay, Orly, ask away. Yeah, you can take a screenshot and also remember that it's going to be recorded or it is being recorded, so you'll be able to find it in Google Classroom today. Okay, so here we go. And Orly and others, if you all don't have paper around you and you ran out, just open Notability and go ahead and work out the problems on that. That's a different way of doing it. I think you can still hear me if you do that. All right, so let's get started here, or continue. All right, so the base is 3 and the height is 6. I know that because of this right here, everybody. That's a perpendicular, or basically a right angle, a perpendicular angle. And what that says is that this is definitely the base and this is definitely the height, because the height and the base form a perpendicular or a right angle. So let's go ahead and plug in these values. A is equal to 1/2 times the base, which is 3. There should be a unit like meters, but they don't include that in Khan Academy. The height is going to be 6. Be careful, it's a 6, not a 9. According to the order of operations, we're going to do 3 times 6 first. It's going to give you 18. And then you're going to get that and you're going to multiply it by half. Another way of thinking about this is you're going to get 18 and divide it by 2. Okay? 18 divided by 2. When you multiply something by half, you're actually dividing it by 2. So that's going to be A is equal to 9 and some kind of square units. I did speed up there at the end, but that was only to catch up. I wonder who amongst you got 9 square units. If you got that, let us know in the comments. Okay, so if you don't have any questions on that, I know that 5A is a really strong class, and I can get on to the next assignment. If you would like that, just go ahead and comment OK. And moderators, let me know what's going on, okay? All right, rock on, let's go. Next one. So you have ones like this. Okay, so now we have, by the way, if you heard a little voice there, that wasn't a phantom echo from the previous class. All right, so what we have here is you have to solve for the area once more. I'm going to give you an extra challenge because I think you can take it. The extra challenge is give me the area and also the perimeter of this triangle. Ready, set, solve. Now I know we haven't done perimeter problems. Perimeter is not hard. Remember, it's like the fencing or the border around the whole figure. And it has to do with adding. And that's all I'm going to tell you for now. All right, let me see. Talking to myself here, A is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. And I highly encourage you guys to write that formula down as many times as possible, because that's how you'll memorize it. It will not go away. You're going to see that formula quite a bit in geometry, quite a bit. So I'm going to take this figure and I'm going to turn it like this. Why? Because it helps me see it better. And I see that this 4 is the base. I see this 7 is the height. This 8 is extra information, except that I gave you the challenge of perimeter, so it's not going to be extra information. Okay, let's plug in for area. 1/2 times the base, which is 4, times the height, which is 7. It's going to give us 28. Half of 28 is going to give us, oops, wow, that was weird. Mental glitch, 14. Square units. If it's meters, it would be meters squared, etc. Now, did anybody solve the perimeter? And if so, what was your answer? Moderators, do you see any perimeter answers by any chance? Okay. Okay, that sounds about right. Because if you add the numbers around the triangle, 8 plus 7 plus 4, 15, 17, 18. Well, hold on. 8 plus 7 is going to be 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Am I doing this wrong? Oh, yeah, I see. 19 units. 19 units. And I hope you all didn't write square units, because if you did, it would be wrong. Does anybody know why that's not, the perimeter is not square units? Let me erase that. Why it's not square units. Just units. Okay? The reason is because you're not multiplying the units together. You're adding. And when you're adding, you don't get something like meters to the second power or meters to the third power where we have volume. It's just units, one dimension. Okay? All right. So let's move forward. And if you have a question and the moderators are trying to take notes, remember, this is a double responsibility for them. This is not easy. If you have a question, and for some reason the moderators are just really trying to take down the notes here, you can go ahead and unmute yourself temporarily. Okay, but for the most part, moderators are going to take care of it. Okay, go for it. You're right. That's exactly right. And when you divide, you're dividing not by 1/2 in this case. You're dividing by 2. Right. Yeah. Or 0.5. So good comment there. All right, you all. So Jules just gave you a big boost. It was interesting. Okay, so that's what I'm going to ask you to. So I think basically, Jules, you kind of already solved that one at this point. So what he did was, you can just look. It's 1/2. Okay, Jules, go ahead and mute yourself back up. It's 1/2 times the base. The base is 3. You can say, let's say this is the base up here, or down here, better said. Now you're going to learn that the base in some figures can be a top and a bottom. You're going to see that in the future. Okay, that's the base. The height is up this one here, and you know it's the height because it's perpendicular, forms a right angle with the base. So we have 3 times 3, base and height, it's going to be 9. Get half of 9. Well, half of 8 is 4. 9 is 1 more. Half of that is 0.5. So it's going to be either 4.5 or 4.5. Okay? And that's going to be units, square units, right? Don't forget that for your quiz, because Khan Academy is doing it for you. Khan Academy is doing this part right here for you, but don't assume that that's going to be what's going to happen in the quiz. Now, as Jules said, this right here was not important. This is what you call extraneous information. That's a big word for saying irrelevant information. Okay, are we doing good? If you are doing good, say something like good or yes or okay or something like that. Wow. Okay, now we're going to get serious. So, not that serious. Solve for the area. Go. Try and beat your record. Go faster. Try and sit ahead of me, is what that means. Which equals 1/2. Plug in the base. The base is going to be 4 times the height, which is 5. It's going to be 20. Notice that even though I'm going a little faster, I'm still writing legibly. Okay, it's really important because people want to be able to read what I'm doing. Imagine if you were me and your handwriting wasn't amazing. Not that mine's amazing, but you get the point. People would have a hard time following. Okay, so I went pretty fast there, kind of. 10 square units is what I got. Okay, and one thing that I want to point out right now is that this part right here, if it had a number like, I don't know, like 2, it wouldn't matter because that's a reference. Okay? This part is a reference that helps me to align with the height, which is this part here. Let me use a different color. This part here. Okay, now this part is important and the whole thing is 5. The base, which is this here, that's only 4. Okay, so don't be fooled about that yellow piece, that dotted piece. Okay, 5A'ers, I'm going to assume that there are no questions so far because I'm hearing nothing, and that's usually good news. It's kind of like when you get something really yummy to eat for dinner, and you're eating because you're really hungry and you're not talking. There's a saying that goes, looks like everybody was hungry. It's like a Spanish saying because no one's talking when they're eating. That's a good sign. This one here? Yeah, it was 10 units, square units. Yeah. Does that make sense now? Yeah. Yeah, the height is here and the base is here. You multiply it to get 20 and then divide by 2 and it's 10. 10 units squared, or square units. For the perimeter, yeah. Okay, let's move forward. All right. Now, what if you had this problem? Go ahead and solve for the area and try and stay ahead of me. Set, go. Okay, A is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. Oh, by the way, side point, and you can keep on working on the problem. The reason that 1/2 base times height works for the triangle formula is because base times the height works for a quadrilateral like this rectangle. If you divide the rectangle in half, you have yourself a triangle. See? And that's half the rectangle, which is where the half comes from. 1/2 times the base times the height. That's how the formula for the area of a triangle was born. Some mathematician thought that. In retrospect, it's actually kind of easy to see it now, but back then it wasn't. Okay, let's go ahead and plug in some values. 1/2 times the base, well, it can get tricky. The base is actually 16. See? So 16. Question. Yes, go for it. No worries. Thanks, Josh. I think that was Josh. Okay. Okay. So guys, back to this problem. The base is 16, and when I turn it over like that, the only issue is like making sure that the 16 and the 10 don't get confusing for you. If it is confusing, just turn it back in your head or turn your iPad or something. So the height is going to be actually, oh my gosh, and it's really funny that I even mentioned this 10 because it's irrelevant, isn't it? This 8 is relevant because that's the height. See how it forms a right angle with a base? That's how you know. So it's going to be 16 times 8. And, oops, let me see how I want to pull this off. Technology. Okay, there we go. All right, so 16 times 8, let's do it. 16 times 8, 48, carry the 4. 8 plus 1, 8 times 1 is 8, and 4 is 12, 128. So we have 128, and there's some kind of unit, okay, that we're not writing. It could be something like meters or something, squared, right? You're going to get half of that. And then that's going to be, here's a mental math way. What's half of 12? 6. What's half of 8? 4. Yeah, so that's like a mental mathy sort of way of doing that. Of course, if you really wanted to, you can do it like this. You can solve for 128 divided by 2. That's fine too. So area is going to equal 64 square units. Okay, so I hope I didn't go too fast on that one. Everyone doing okay so far? If you are doing okay, let's go ahead and make our technique and our way of doing things more efficient. If you're doing okay, you can just type in like a yes. If you are doing not okay, you can do it like a no or an N. And you don't have to answer, of course. I think that we'll just look for the majority. Moderators, how does it look in the comments right now? Great. Oh, great. Okay, let's do it. So let's move on to the next one. Now this is a challenge problem, sort of. It's not going to get tougher than this, that's for sure. Can you solve for, wait for it, the perimeter and also the area of this problem? Now remember, tomorrow's quiz is going to be focusing on the area, but I thought I'd give you a little challenge anyway. Ready, set, solve. Okay, I'm going to start working up here. Area is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. It's going to be 1/2. The base is 4.1 meters. The height is 2.7 meters. So you may have already caught this, and I am guilty. Yes, I tried to fool you with this part right here, making you think that that was also the base. It's not. And I did add this here, but you're going to need that because you're solving for perimeter. Matter of fact, you'll need all these for perimeter. Okay, back to my problem. So you're going to have to do this part right here. You're going to multiply 4.1 times 2.7. That might just be the toughest part of this problem, even though you've done it before. 4.1 times 2.7. 7 times 1 is 7. Oh, thanks for that. Okay, thank you. I think we can do it. All right, so 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 4 is 28. Placeholders here. That's done. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. It's going to be 7. 10 carry the 1. 10, 11. And it's going to be 1, 2 decimal places. So my answer is going to be, oh, for at least this inner part of the parentheses, it's going to be 11.07. You're going to get half of that. So that means dividing it by 2. So 2 goes into 11 5 times. It's going to be a 10. Bring down the 10. 2 goes into 10 5 times. That's going to be a 10. Bring down the 7. And 2 goes into 7 3 times. Piper, if you can't see the screen, that's perfectly normal. What you want to do is get out of meets and come back in. It's going to be a lot easier that way. Okay. Okay, so, so what was I? Oh yeah, 3 times 2 is going to be 6. It's going to be a 1. And remember, you don't want to just let it go at that. We have no remainders in advanced 5th grade math. You're going to create a 0 and bring it down. And 2 goes into 10 5 times. Now we have a 0 down here. Everybody, our answer for area is equal to 5.535. And because you should have multiplied, and because you multiplied meters times meters, it's going to be square meters. Okay. For the perimeter, you had to go ahead and take 6.2 plus 4.1 plus 3.3. I know I'm going a little quicker now, but just want to stay on time. The perimeter, you all should have gotten 13.6 meters. Okay. Did you all get that? Give me a Y if you got it, a no if you didn't. You don't have to answer, but I like it when you do. And remember, this is being recorded, and also moderators, you can just check for Y's and N's. Okay, well, that's okay. Just not necessarily saying any names, even though it's fine. But yeah, so if you guys are chatting, what's also happening is you're not solving the problem. Now remember, you want to solve the problem with me, because if you're solving the problem, you're practicing together with me, and that's going to make a difference. If you're chit-chatting, it's not going to help you out too much. Yeah. Right. And that's okay because the moderators were handling that, Jules. So if you spam the comments, what happens by saying stuff over and over, you distract the viewers. Because remember, I can't see the comments, right? So do make sure that you're not spamming and that you are working on the work, okay, and taking the notes moving forward. Okay, everybody, listen. So it technically is over. I'm going to go ahead and say the class is done. If you got all of this, great. If not, remember, I have office hours today, although it is shorter because, remember, I have a teacher meeting today. And if you want to stay a little bit of time after the class is over, which is basically now, you can, and you can ask me some extra questions if you'd like. As for the rest of you, good luck and good logic. All right, I'll see you all later. All right, everybody. Bye. Hasta luego. Hasta mañana. Be kind. Be curious. Take risks.